What's up everyone? Today I'm going to give a recap of Haines City Ironman, and I'm going to tell you all about the shoulder replacement that didn't happen. It's been about a week, a little over, since Ironman. I wanted to do a recap earlier, but I was kind of mad about how I did, and I didn't want to get on here and complain about something that I didn't need to complain about, so I'm not. And the replacement surgery that should have happened didn't happen, and I'll talk a little bit about that also. Haines City Ironman, swam the 1.2 miles in about 55 minutes, which is 5 minutes less than I did last time. I was pretty happy about that. Got out of the water, got on the bike. The bike actually took me just a little over 3 hours. I think I did like 17.8 miles an hour or something like that. The first 20 miles of the bike felt great. No wind, no anything. I was going about 24, 25 miles an hour and just cruising along, passing a lot of people and kind of doing what I thought that I would be doing the whole time. And then probably about mile 25 or so, started to go downhill a little bit, lose a little bit of power and some energy. There was a headwind, like I feel like the whole time on the bike. So I got off the bike after 3 hours and 8 minutes and jumped on the run, and I had nothing left, I don't think. I think the first mile I did might have been a 10-minute mile or 10:30 maybe, and that was the best mile I did the entire time. It was 95 degrees, it was hot. The run, which should be like one of my best events, the best of the three, because I would consider myself a pretty decent runner, was terrible. So I think I finished a half marathon in 2:40, 2:45, 2:48, somewhere in there. Yeah, it was rough. It was hot. I had nothing in the tank by the time I got to the run. So I promised myself that will not happen again. I will make sure I have enough left after the bike next time to get the run. As far as times go, I think the times were okay. I wanted to do somewhere around a 6.5 hour time, and I did a 6:58, which isn't, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it isn't too bad. For my second Ironman 70.3, I don't think that's terrible. I took off about an hour and a half off the first Ironman. I'd really like to get somewhere in the 5s for my next one. So I'm going to be working on two things, the swim and running better off the bike. Now fast forward to last Thursday, which was April 22nd. The 21st I went and did my COVID test, all the pre-op stuff for the replacement surgery. It's my lucky day. Somebody just pulled out right in front of me so I can park. Oh man, it's handicapped. Dang it. The surgery was scheduled for the 22nd at 6 in the morning. I had to be there, so I had to fast overnight, show up at 6, get wheeled back into, or walk back into the pre-op area, bed area, whatever, where they assign you your area and you get the IV and the drugs and all that stuff. Go back to that area. They tell me that they had an emergency and they might end up bumping me to the 27th. So I was kind of bummed out right away. Probably 15, 20 minutes later, they tell me, nope, you're good to go. So they give me the IV. They wheel me into the next room where they give me a block. Now the block goes into your neck and makes your entire arm numb. And they do that so that after surgery you don't feel the need to move it as much. And then also what that does is, I guess it's meant to keep you off the painkillers as much, so you don't use as many painkillers. I don't know. So they did that, and then they injected a little bit of Lucy juice into the IV. I was kind of pretty out of it. There's a picture I took where you can see one of my pupils is like this big and one is like this big, and I'm just, Then they came in, they rolled me back across the hall to the same area where I was waiting before, and I knew after about 20 minutes something wasn't right, so they came in there and they canceled my surgery. They told me that they had the wrong piece for the shoulder, which, I mean, by all means, don't operate if you don't have the right piece. And the thing is, they had a longer rod for the surgery that should have been shorter, because they said I'm relatively young, especially for a shoulder surgery or a shoulder replacement, that they don't want to do the long rod, because in 15-20 years when they have to go back in to do the reverse, they don't want to take as much bone off, so they want to do a short one now, and then they can add a long one in later. So that was number one. Number two, the imaging from the VA in the Villages, even though it was good enough for the day before for pre-op when they were looking at it, for some reason they didn't have it for the surgery, and they said something about it goes to France and then comes back to the United States or whatnot. So that was an issue, which I had to get imaging after, when I was already hopped up on all their stuff. And they said something about sterilization of a tray was not done properly in the OR. So because of those three things, I could not get the shoulder replacement. They did reschedule me, so now I'm scheduled for May 18th. Which is the week before school ends, so I'm gonna go in and have the surgery and come back and do the last week of school and then be out for the summer, which I guess is kind of better. I could have postponed, I guess, till the summer, but then I would have had to go through the whole pre-op thing again. And I mean, I'm such a busy person. I'm very well scheduled, so I always have a lot to do, and I don't want to put it off. I really wanted to be close to a weekend recovering already. It sucks. But, I mean, all in all, I get to do a lot of cool things. We have some food truck events coming up. Cinco de Mayo will be in Spanish Spring Square. And then, I think it's May 15th, we will be in Chitty Chatty for like a block party. So I'm happy that we'll get to do those kind of things. Well, I'll get to do them. They would have done them anyway. And I'll probably shut the food truck down for a month or so while I'm recovering and rehabbing, and until I get the sling off and I can actually help. Because I know Natalie doesn't like to work the food truck in my place. So, yeah, I appreciate everybody reaching out. And now you know what happened with the shoulder surgery. Thanks for following along, and I'll keep you guys up to date. Tomorrow or the next day we'll have a video of the new Continuing the Dream construction in the Villages. And thanks for stopping by.